Hi there, everyone. Rob here with today's Mawar update, or Ambo. It is moving off towards the north right now, and actually the Joint Typhoon Warning Center here on the 2nd of June has upgraded this to a typhoon. But also, the Japan Meteorological Agency is continuing to keep this as a severe tropical storm, but only a 10-knot difference between both of the agencies, as JMA still holds this at 55 knots. And we've already been seeing these gusty winds come on shore here just east of the Sierra Madre Mountains here along the northeastern portions of Luzon, and actually around Iligan. You've been seeing rain showers push throughout the day, even off to the north in Apari, as you continue to see those rain bands push on shore here, and even off towards the east. Some of these feeder bands are moving across southern Luzon, so widespread rain showers, over 100 millimeters in the past 24 hours in many of these locations out here. So even if you are not getting these tropical storm force winds across the Philippines, you are seeing these heavy rains as well. So let's take a look at actually the infrared imagery here, and plenty of higher cloud tops, seeing plenty of very good circulation coming in from the south. All these feeder bands are putting in moisture. There is some drier advection coming in out of Taiwan here due to high pressure aloft that is keeping the system kind of at bay and a little bit lopsided, but that moisture looks like it's kind of winning the battle here and starting to wrap around the core center of circulation. And with now, actually, it does look like an eye wall is beginning to form up. Let's show you a microwave imagery. This is a type of imagery that peers through that cirrus overcast shield and looks into where the thick cumulonimbus cloud tops are. And as you can see in the last several frames here, it does look like a distinct eye wall is forming up. Thus, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center has really gone ahead and declared this a typhoon, and also the Japan Meteorological Agency and also Pagasa does look like they have a typhoon in their forecast here, as sea surface temperatures remain rather warm. Wind shear is on the low side, at least for the time being, and also plenty of this moisture inflow coming into the storm. Thus, it does look like it is going to be continuing to intensify. And model outlooks look like they also agree with that. Actually, here are all the models showing no gaps in the purple here. I also have GFS and the greens, and that's actually a model I quite often use, but both of these are pushing this to a higher intensity into the next several days, intensifying it up to almost a Category 2 equivalent typhoon before starting the weekend, as it runs into that vertical wind shear off the north by about the next 48 to 72 hours. But more importantly, here is the model tracks, and there is kind of a split between some of these models, some going off towards the east, some towards the west. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center looks like they're running it right down the middle here, but for everybody in Okinawa, you do want to be watching this very closely, because even if it does move just towards the east, high surf is going to be bringing some coastal floodings, plus plenty of rip currents. Do not try to go surfing out in here. The waves are not going to be good at all, very choppy, and also that risk of a gusty winds, thunderstorms. And as we've seen in the past, when some of these heavier rain bands move onshore, they could be bringing the threat of also tornado activity. And we actually saw that most recently with Tropical Storm Beryl just off the east coast of the Americas. In North Carolina, there was actually a report of a weak tornado. There are some rain shrouded, and even here in the Philippines, some of these outer rain bands coming through with those higher cumulonimbus cloud tops, those could be bringing the threat of tornadic activity towards Visayas and even southern Luzon, even working off towards the north as this storm continues to push off towards the north. Now, what's going to be making this turn towards the northeast is this frontal area that's currently over Japan right now, bringing widespread rain showers. Actually, current radar imagery out of the southern Japanese islands are indicating widespread thunderstorms, and you can see that popping up in the satellite imagery in the last several frames. So if you are seeing high winds and heavy rains there today, it's not directly associated with this tropical storm, but it is going to have a direct impact on the tropical storm, because as that pushes off towards the north, it's going to hit that frontal area and eventually cause it to turn towards the northeast. And that's why I think it will actually get a little bit closer towards Okinawa here as it runs into that frontal area into the next several days, and really just starts to encounter that jet stream before it really turns basically due east, following that whole frontal boundary. It's going to become extra tropical at that time, so expect some very high and rough seas out here for any shipping traffic across much of the northern Pacific. But here's a look at what the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is saying at this time. 65 gusting up to 80 knots is their current intensity. They're expecting it to max out at 85 gusting up to 105 knots as it does move ever so slowly off towards the north before picking up pace once it passes just east of Okinawa here, running off just southeast of the mainland Japan. Let's look at what the Japan Meteorological Agency is saying, the official agency out here in the Western Pacific. And they indicate a very similar track as this storm actually they expected to start to turn a little bit towards the northeast sooner than later before running just southeast of Okinawa here and then running off towards the northeast, not making any impact on any major land masses. Some of these outer Japanese islands could be hit here, but there really isn't a population at all to speak of, at least no permanent residents on any of these islands. So that's fairly good news as it run out that way. But similar situation with this, those rough seas near the coastlines, gusty winds, and those thunderstorms coming in from the outer rain bands will still be a threat. But that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at WesternPacificWeather.com. As always, if you have questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them in the comment box below. And lastly, I also do want to remind you, we are not an official forecasting agency. Please refer to Pagasa or the Japan Meteorological Agency for your vital local warnings and information on the official warnings of these tropical systems. Stay safe out there and have a great day. Bye.